Hello, everyone. Gonna be recording a league with Teamer Delver. Here is my Teamer Delver list. Pretty typical, just sort of a stock list. I began playing this because I kind of got fed up with Death Shadow decks. It was just too difficult. I don't think they're very well positioned right now. I've got your usual 19 lands here, 3 Trop, 3 Volcanic, 4 Wasteland. We've got a pretty standard suite of threats and so forth. Here's my sideboard, so I'll go ahead and join a match here, and together we will see just how powerful Teamer Delver is right now. We will play first. This hand, kind of hit or miss, but if I get a Volcanic on turn 1, and I don't get Wastelanded, I can play Delver turn 1, Arcanist turn 2. I'm going to keep it. We'll play our Delver. If we do get Wastelanded, then we're in like kind of bad shape, but at least we'll have a Delver on board. Alright, Snow-Covered Island Ponder. So maybe we're playing against Combo, maybe we're playing against Delver, and maybe we're playing against Snowko. Combo, Delver, or Snowko. Not going to reveal that, but it's probably better to conceal the fact that we have Wasteland. So I will fetch a Trop, and we'll play our Dreadhorde Arcanist. Tropical Island, so maybe we are playing against Delver that just has a basic land. Maybe they also have Snow-Covered Mountain. Or they're a snow deck that just didn't really have any other choice, because you definitely prefer not to play a land that can just get Wastelanded when you're playing against Delver, which I am obviously playing here. So, we can Chain Lightning them to have something to flashback with the Dreadhorde Arcanist, but I don't actually really like that much. I think I'm just going to attack here. I'd kind of prefer to save the Chain Lightning for, you know, something they might play to the board, like a creature, something like that. Okay, Thoughtseize. So it looks like, you know, we are probably playing against Storm Combo, maybe Doomsday. And given that we've seen Thoughtseize now, I think we can safely conclude that we're playing against a combo deck, and I think we can use our Chain Lightning and not have to worry about it saving it for a threat. So this Delver just will not flip. I'm going to play it, the Delver that we revealed for the turn. I'm going to Chain Lightning my opponent. Get in for 2. Flashback the Chain Lightning. And then they'll be at 6. And I think I'll play my Wasteland. So pretty sure my opponent will probably need to go for it this turn, whatever it is that they're trying to do. Okay. Lightning Bolt, that's a pretty good one. and my opponent has conceded. So we've seen Thoughtseize, some Snow basics. Kind of wondering if I should sideboard as if I'm playing against Storm, which I think I'm going to do. So against Storm, I'll probably cut the Chain Lightnings for like a Null Rod and a Surgical Extraction. Maybe cut a Bolt for the other Surgical Extraction. And could probably cut a Goyf for like a Red Elemental Blast. I don't like playing too many Red Elemental Blasts against Storm. Maybe also cut like an Oko for a Red Elemental Blast. Yeah, I feel like that seems fine against like, you know, your typical Storm deck. If they are on Doomsday though, we don't really... I don't think Null Rod is... Well, Null Rod's alright against Doomsday, I think. I don't have a whole ton of experience playing against Doomsday, but I think this seems fine. However, they do also play... Some combo decks play Carpet of Flowers, which is great against Delver, so... I think I'm just going to submit this, though. Maybe we'll cut one Bolt for a Return to Nature just in case they have some sort of hate permanent. And we'll submit that. I pretty much classify Carpet of Flowers as a hate permanent, even though it's specifically only hate for Delver. No threat, but I'll keep this hand. We have, you know, we've got stuff to do. We will shuffle that. Lands are not really what we need at this point in time. I think rather than wastelanding his Underground Sea, or their Underground Sea, I think what I first need to do is ponder. I think we need to at least get a threat in our hand. Brainstorm and Tarmogoyf. Not going to shuffle. Since we won't be able to play our Tarmogoyf for another turn, I will wasteland them now. And I'm fine with drawing that Brainstorm that's also on top of the library, so... it also could be that I should have drawn the Brainstorm and left the Tarmogoyf on top, because if they Thoughtseize me, they're probably going to take the Tarmogoyf. But honestly, then we're drawing Brainstorm, and we have, like, you know, ways to Brainstorm and then shuffle. So, they did not shuffle. Part of me wonders if I should focus on, like, finding counter magic and protection before playing my threat, which I think I'm going to actually do. However... if they find a discard spell, I would need multiple counter spells to get around that anyway. So I think I might just actually go for it and play the Tarmogoyf. Because I don't really know what the odds are of me brainstorming into like multiple counter spells. But I feel like it's got to be like kind of low. And if we brainstorm into like one and they just discard it, that didn't really do us much good either. So I think the logical thing to do is to play the Tarmogoyf. Duress. Surgical was my sort of only piece of interaction, really. So it looks like we are playing against probably Ad Nauseam Tendrils. Yeah. It might be possible that playing the Tarmogoyf there was incorrect. but, you know, you win some, you lose some. Maybe I should have brainstormed to try and find like a counterspell. Of course, there was one duress, so if I had just found one counterspell, some good that would have done. So I'll concede to the Past in Flames here. Now that we know they are on ad nauseum tendrils, I feel like I'll also be bringing in my Soul Guide Lantern. I feel like we can probably... I feel like maybe we can... take out maybe another lightning bolt for the Soul Guide Lantern. I wonder if we need... maybe I'll bring in a Blazing Volley as like a single out to empty the Warrens for a Tarmogoyf. But I think I like everything else the way it is. Yeah, I feel like this is pretty good. I might be wrong. I don't know. I think I'm going to submit this, though. The single Lightning Bolt I like to have as an out to Xantid Swarm, which Blazing Volley also functions as. Play first, yes. We didn't see, you know, that particular card, but... so this hand is... I feel like it's good enough. We have a turn 1 Delver. We do have the Force backup in case they try and go for an early win. This hand is not very good if they have like a turn 1 discard, turn 2 combo hand, but I think I just have to go for it. And we have to hope that maybe they spend a couple turns cantripping and they play some dual lands that we can disrupt with Wasteland. And I would love to flip this on a cantrip or... okay. Well, guess I'll just play a Volcanic Island here. You know, it's possible maybe I should have actually shaved Wastelands. Storm can just fetch basics pretty easily. At least Ad Nauseam Tendrils can. The Epic Storm has a harder time. I mean, they play basic lands, but, you know, they have more non-basics since they play more colors. But, yeah, Wasteland definitely, you know, you can board out 1 to 2 copies of it against Ad Nauseam Tendrils, I'd say. Yes. Okay. Let's preordain. Maybe find some... so let's see, Tropical Island here. That lets us play our Oko. However, Oko is really not... yeah, I guess we can draw the Ponder. Then we have multiple cards to pitch in the event of Force of Will. Let's see. So if I Ponder and I find another Force, that would kind of make it worth my while. Because then if they discard, I still have blue card and another Force. So they would need 2 discard spells. I think I'm going to Ponder. And that is not really what I want to see. I guess I probably shouldn't have played that Wasteland as my land for turn, because what I probably could have done was, you know, played the Wooded Foothills here, and then I have green mana to play the Oko in the future if I need to. But I think what I will prefer to do is I'll just shuffle. Still drew a Tropical Island, but I was kind of hoping to hit another Force there, either a Force of Will or a Force of Negation. That's okay, though. They're probably sensing weakness since I shuffled that Ponder. And I think... so I topped 2. Okay. Lotus Petal. They might be going for it this turn. And if they have the discard spell, they got us. Cabal Ritual. I think I just let that resolve. Ah, I have to let that resolve. Maybe I should have countered the Cabal Ritual, however, that only buys me one turn, I think, if anything. Very possible, because they have this Lotus Petal, you know, if they have the right cards, they could still just go off anyway. But yeah, maybe playing against Ant can be hard sometimes because sometimes it is right to like counter a Cabal Ritual just out of the blue. What's this going to be? Okay, a Veil of Summer. You already know the contents of my hand, and you know that it's literally only Oko. Infernal Tutor with 3. Okay, Dark Ritual. So then they get a couple Dark Rituals and another Infernal Tutor, or is it a Past in Flames? Probably another Infernal Tutor, Wishclaw. Okay, yeah, it's Infernal Tutor. We lose. Oh well. Good games. Yeah, maybe I should have mulliganed. Because, I mean, we had the Force, but Storm, you know, they can be difficult to beat with these Delver decks because they have Veil of Summer, which, unless you counter it, you know, you're not countering anything else that turn. And then, you know, oftentimes all it really takes is like a single discard spell to strip your hand of like the relevant piece of disruption, like Force of Will. And then, you know, that's like your shields are just down and they just beat you. No big deal, however. Alright, match 2. This hand has turned to Goyf on the draw with Daze backup, Flooded Strand to keep us protected from Wasteland. I think I'm going to keep this, and I might get punished for it, but, you know, we'll see. Okay, it's a Prismatic Vista. Prismatic Vista makes me not really afraid of Wasteland, so I'm just going to go ahead and run out this Delver here. Which I might be more hesitant to do if, you know, they led on something that appeared to be more like Delver-ish. Because one of the most frequent ways that I lose to Delver is kind of getting my only colored source wastelanded, and then it takes too long to draw out of it. I can Daze this, which I think I'm fine with. Let's see, Hooting Mandrills 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to keep this Polluted Delta, and we can use it to filter our next draw. Shuffle something away that we do not feel like we need. I'm thinking we're probably playing against Snowko here. And they're stuck on 2 lands. That's good for us. Preordain, yes, we will reveal and draw that. So now we can kind of comfortably just play out another creature, perhaps. Probably one of these Tarmogoyfs. And then next turn we have Oko, if we choose to run it out. We don't have any counter magic as of yet, so maybe we won't just run out the Oko, but let's see what they do. I mean, we do have 3 Okos, so getting the first one countered is not that big of a deal. Okay, Brainstorm here, which I'm assuming they probably drew, because if they had had it last turn, I think they would have tried to hit their land drops. Yeah. Okay, there's an Astrolabe, which I mean, there's no reason. Okay, they still are stuck on those lands. That's interesting. So they're kind of brainstorm locked. I feel like they probably have counter magic in their hand at this point. So the question is, do we just want to run out this Oko? I think we do. Because even if they counter it, it's like I still have this kind of like board presence, you know. Okay, counterbalance. So we are playing against some sort of like, you know, Miracles deck. And one of the nice things about playing the Oko there is if it does get countered, it's another card type for Tarmogoyf. Obviously, we got really lucky that game, so that was probably a big factor there. I'm thinking we bring in these red elemental blasts. I'll probably cut Chain Lightning, and Lightning Bolt for those. I'm thinking Klothys is good. Probably for like a Daze. Sylvan Library is also great. We can shave another Daze since we are on the draw. Maybe we'll bring in a Return to Nature for like a Force of Will, because, you know, these decks can always play like a hate permanent or two. And maybe we'll bring in like a single Surgical Extraction. We haven't seen anything that makes me think that they have like graveyard stuff. I mean, they do have Arkham's Astrolabe, and they do have Counterbalance. So usually the Astrolabe decks will play like, you know, Euro. So maybe, yeah, we'll bring in like one Surgical. We have the Return to Nature. We have Klothys, just in case, you know, they have, in case they have Euro or something like that. Of course, we do have Oko as well to deal with Euro. You know, I might actually bring back in a Force for that Surgical, because I don't feel like we really need Surgical. Surgical can be good against the land. I think it's Mystic Sanctuary, the one that returns like a card. I think we can also probably actually board out Wastelands. So maybe I'll bring in the Force, all the Forces, shave 2 Wastelands, and I think this looks good. So this hand is not keepable. Nor is this hand. This hand is very good. So I think Lightning Bolt is probably one of the weakest cards here, and I think Force of Negation probably is unnecessary. We can just turn 1 Delver, turn 2 Dreadhorde. Ooh, and that draw just set us up for like a nice possible curve out. Okay, Daze. Interesting. So that leads me to believe maybe they have like Monastery Mentor. I don't know. It's weird to see Daze out of an Arkham's Astrolabe counterbalance deck. So they're just this like low to the ground, I guess probably like Jeskai Control or something along those lines. Maybe Jeskai Mentor. We'll find out. And now we are pretty far ahead on tempo. We already have a Volcanic, so I'll get a Tropical Island. If we draw another land and get to play Oko next turn with like Daze backup, that'd be super good. Dreadhorde. I feel like that is probably a worthy candidate for dazing. And if they counter back, we can ponder trying to find like a Lightning Bolt for it. Okay. I think I'll ponder here to have something good to flashback with Dreadhorde. We will not shuffle. Ooh. Let's see. Volcanic, Brainstorm, and Surgical. I'm not going to shuffle. And I think I will Surgical their Arcanist here just to see what they're working with. And most decks that play Arcanist play like 3 to 4 of them. So, okay, Blood Moon Days, Monastery Mentor. I was correct that they are a Monastery Mentor style deck. We do have to... we're going to get Blood Mooned next turn. But, yeah, damn. Okay. Well, that's fine, I guess. Like, we're probably going to lose this game if they get that Blood Moon off. And we know that the top of our library has, I think, a Brainstorm. Let's just Brainstorm now. If they daze it, then they still can't. Okay. So we are a little screwed. I guess there's multiple things they could do, but they're probably going to play the Blood Moon. They might play the Monastery Mentor. We can put Brainstorm on top, and then Flooded Strand, I guess. We know that their hand... So if they do Blood Moon us, we can flashback Surgical Extraction with the purpose of surgicaling their daze, which we know they have in hand. Of course, they might daze the Surgical Extraction. Yeah, so now that all of our lands are mountains, what is the best thing to do here? We could Brainstorm to try... Yeah, I think maybe in this case I will Brainstorm. Try and find maybe a force for the Monastery Mentor. Damn. Yeah, we're probably going to lose this game. We'll play it out, though. See what happens here. So now that we know they're like a Monastery Mentor Blood Moon style deck, I feel like the Dazes will probably have utility for us. I'm just going to concede. We know they have Blood Moon. We know they have Mentor. How does this change things? I feel like we do want our Dazes. We can probably remove one Lightning Bolt. And I feel like we don't need the Surgical Extraction anymore. I mean, they have Dreadhorde Arcanist, they have Monastery Mentor, but I don't feel like Surgical Extraction is really necessary. And I think I'll submit that. We will play first. I like this hand. Probably spend the first couple of turns just playing cantrips. Yeah, I'm fine with both of these cards. We'll draw the Foothills and then the Mandrills next turn. Yep. So I'd like to, let's see, we could play the Delver this turn. Or we could draw the Delver and then wait to also draw the Arcanist. I think I'm just going to draw the Delver and play the Delver this turn. Okay. So we have Oko with Force backup next turn. I feel like that's probably a pretty good play. We will reveal Daze. Now we have Oko with Force and Daze backup. Make some food. Swing with our insect. Red Elemental Blast. I think that's something that I will force. We'll elk our food. So let's see. Do they have any sweepers? They do not have anything like Supreme Verdict, so I feel okay with playing out my Hooting Mandrills. They don't have any Terminus. They don't have any Supreme Verdict. They're going to swords my food. Okay. Weird. I don't know why they wouldn't swords the insect there, because it has evasion. We will represent Red Elemental Blast even though we don't have it. Oh, and they conceded. Okay. So we beat Jeskai Mentor. Pretty cool deck. Once again, I'll show my deck list. This is our variant of Temur Delver that we're playing. 3 Dreadhorde, 3 Goyf, 2 Mandrills, 4 Delver. We've got, in the flex slots, I guess, 2 Preordain, 2 Chain Lightning, 2 Force of Negation. Everything else is pretty stock 4 of. I have only Red Elemental Blasts, kind of on the count of the fact that they were significantly cheaper than Pyroblast to buy, and I'm kind of had to scrape every last penny together to buy into Temur Delver. That's also why I have 4 Wooded Foothills and 4 Flooded Strands and only 1 Polluted Delta. Ideally, I think you want to, vary it so that you have like 2 Flooded Strand, 2 Delta, 2 Misty, 2 Tarn, and like a Foothills, or so you're not really playing too many of one fetch land, because this just kind of opens up, Pithing Needles or Surgical Extractions to just remove, all of one particular card. All right, match number 3. So that game 3 against Mentor just really showed the raw power of Oko. It's like you resolve him, you counter their Red Blast, and he just kind of runs away with the game, This hand, yeah, I guess it's a keep. We have a lot of ways to disrupt an opponent that plays like non-basic lands. It's another snow-covered island, so could be combo, could be Snowko, could even be some sort of Delver that plays a basic. Dreadhore's pretty good draw. Now we can curve Delver into Dreadhorde into Oko. Of course, the Dreadhorde isn't amazing unless we find a spell to the question is, do I daze this Sylvan Library? And I think the answer to that is yes. I don't want that to resolve. because it just fixes their draws for like the rest of the game, and it's just a difficult card to overcome. We will reveal that. Codal. I think I will lightning bolt that. We have this flipped Delver. I don't see any reason to sacrifice it unnecessarily. It's slowing us down a little bit when it comes to playing these other cards, but that's fine, I think. You know, to have the ability to just kind of stay ahead on board is nice. So next turn, we can either play Dreadhorde Tarmogoyf for Oko. Oko is the most mana-efficient play, and probably has the highest potential. Ooh, now that they've played a non-basic, though, I feel inclined to maybe wasteland them. However, yeah, maybe wasteland them, play the Arcanist is the best play. Okay. They only have 2 cards in hand, which now makes me feel pretty comfortable with maybe playing the Oko next turn. And then that will just start making food. Another candidate for Wasteland, however. If I Wasteland them and I don't draw another land for a little while, that kind of prevents me from playing the Oko. Now we have 2 Okos, so I'm just going to go for it. If it gets countered, so be it, you know. We will elk our food. Wasteland their volcanic island. Let's get in there with the food. And we'll play our Tarmogoyf. One of my all-time favorite cards, Tarmogoyf. Yep, Swords to Plowshares, that's fine. I feel pretty comfortably ahead this game. Attack with our food. And next turn we just have lethal. Unless they are able to find something to ward off our food, our elks. And I mean, they scoop anyway, so. Once again, the raw power of Oko. Playing against Snowko, so I'm going to bring in the Clothis, the Sylvan Library, probably both Return to Natures, because, you know, most of them play Carpet of Flowers nowadays. Going to bring in the Red Elemental Blasts. Probably both Surgicals and the Soul Guide Lantern. So I know that seems like a lot of cards, but this is kind of what I like to do against Snowko these days. You just board into this really low to the ground, sort of like smaller version of them, and you have these great cards. I guess we are on the draw, so we could probably board out a couple days, bring back in a couple force, and honestly, I don't know if we need the chain lightnings. Um, chain lightning is good, but like, I wouldn't say it's like essential. So maybe now bring in the other forces of will. We still have 20 blue cards, which is fine for force. And, you know, there's all these must answer cards. So, yeah, I think this looks good. I hope it's not a mistake to go all the way down to 15 lands. But to tell you the truth, I'm not really sure. And, you know, Snowko can pretty easily play around Wasteland, so we'll see. I feel pretty comfortable with our boarding plan. And this hand looks solid. Just threats and days and Oko. I bet my opponent kind of wishes they had saved that Abrupt Decay. Then again, Delver of Secrets was pressuring their life total, so maybe they just kind of had to use the Abrupt Decay on that Delver last game. Okay, they don't shuffle. I got the Volcanic Island there because usually when you fetch a Volcanic Island, it means you have red cards in hand, so now they might, you know, they might overthink it and they might play around like Pyroblast or Lightning Bolt, neither of which I actually have. It just feels like you give something away when your hand has a bunch of green cards and you fetch a Tropical Island to play your Delver, when you have the option of, you know, doing a different style of play. Delver will flip on Ponder. Play our Wooded Foothills. Swing with our Delver. And I think I'll just go ahead and play a Tarmogoyf here. I don't see any reason why not to. Cling to Dust. Okay. That can turn into a nice little late game draw engine, but I don't really plan on giving them enough time for that to really become a thing. Euro's fine. So I'm going to play the Oko here, because if they counter it, then our Tarmogoyf will be even bigger. And if they don't, then we have an Oko, and we're looking good. We have the days for a potential Pyroblast. Damn. Oko resolves, I guess. Okay, so they can now play, or now they can escape the Euro playing around days, but I think that's fine. There's a lot of different ways we can deal with Euro. Swords to plowshares, that's fine. Ooh, Oko. Yep, that's fine. Nothing I can do about that. He's probably going to attack my Oko. Oh, no. He just leaves it. Okay. Let's think here. I think I'll start with a Ponder. Dreadhorde Force of Will Ponder. I'm gonna shuffle that. Ah, Red Elemental Blast. There we go. That's kind of what I was hoping for. Let's Red Elemental Blast that Oko. And now we can elk our food. And I think we just attack with both. We're pressuring their life total quite a bit. So I'm one short of being able to play my mandrills, but that's fine. We can play them next turn. And now they don't have the filtration effect from that, which means they don't have mana to escape their Euro, unless they play a green land. Okay, there we go. They're probably going to fetch a tropical. Oh, maybe not. What do they have here? Okay, they have an Ice Fang Codal. Leovold. I guess in response to that I'll brainstorm, because unless I elk the Leovold, I don't know when I'll be, doing that. Okay, we drew a Force of Will for this Leovold. I think I'll force Pitching Force. So I think I'm going to elk my opponent's Ice Fang. Play a Mandrills. We'll leave our Red Elemental Blast just in case we draw a Dreadhorde Arcanist. Feeling pretty good about our position. However, of course, they can escape the Euro now. But we can just elk that too. God, Oko is so damn powerful, it's ridiculous. Okay. We've done a good enough job at pressuring their life total that now they really do have to choose what they use their removal on, you know? So if we daze that, it shuts off any potential for like a Swords to Plowshares. But I think I might rather just daze the Swords to Plowshares. Ah, of course they get that trigger. So, well, they would have, if they paid for the daze, they would have gotten that trigger anyway, so whatever. I think we just elk the Euro. Attack with Insect. And I think we play our other mandrills here. Maybe when I forced the Leovold pitching force, I should have forced pitching daze. So if they find like a cling to or sorry, not cling to, if they find like a Dead of Winter here, that would be pretty bad for us, but we still have the Oko. The problem is they could Dead of Winter and then escape their Euro. Of course, if they Dead of Winter and then escape their Euro, I can always daze that unless they play another land first. Pretty solid grindy game we've had here. I would love to draw a Clothis. There is an Oko. Will he trade his Astrolabe for my insect? I don't know. I don't think so. Ice Fang. Yep. Okay. So if I just elk his Ice Fang, that clears the air. I think I'm going to try doing that. They no longer... Okay, they could fetch a Tundra for Swords to Plowshares. I think I just attack with the insect. Okay. Yeah, they have a Swords to Plowshares, it looks like. Or maybe an Abrupt Decay. Probably an Abrupt Decay, I think. Okay. They are now at 1. I don't think we play this other Oko. I think we just sort of... You know, we just have our Oko with 10 counters on it. We have multiple blockers. Of course, it is getting to the point where they have so many elk that... Ooh, Abrupt Decay. Multiple Abrupt Decays, that hurts. What the heck could this be? Oh, Cling to Dust, I see. Yeah, well, it looks like Cling to Dust has served its function. They were able to make it to that late game where Cling to Dust is now probably going to start generating a lot of value for them. Okay, and he gains some life. Wise. Wise to do, I guess. Because, you know, lightning bolt or something at this point. Okay, so now we can start doing some food creation of our own. Now I could play the Delver here. However, if they play an artifact, then they could trade for the Delver. I think I'm fine with that, because then that gives me another potential elk candidate. So I don't really feel like swinging with the Mandrills, because then that just, you know, is gonna, you know, they can block with the Euro, and as soon as they block with the Euro, then they have the ability to escape it again. Not to mention, I don't want to trade like a Hooting Mandrill for an Arkham's Astrolabe if he double blocks. Unfortunately, everything our opponent has done, you know, like if they ever had to tap out, they tapped out with their Abrupt Decay, meaning, you know, our Daze was never really live. Yeah, Sylvan Library, sure. Okay. That is pretty good. I'm gonna blast their Oko. I'm gonna turn this food into an elk. Now, I could attack with everything, but if I do that, let's say they could like take 3, they block here, and then that enables them to play that next turn. Yeah, I think I want to build up more of a board before I attack. Well, let's think actually. If I attack, because our Mandrills have trample, so let's see, they block here, block here, block here, block here, then they go to 2. I still have 2 Mandrills, then they get to do this, which I can then elk. I wonder what their last card is in their hand. If they have a removal spell, this could end up screwing us, but only screwing us in that it would give them a chance to escape their Euro. However, if they do have a removal spell, I feel like they would have used the removal spell if they had it. So I'm going to attack with everything. This could be a terrible mistake. One, 2, 3, 4. What could this be? Oh god, did they have like Notion Thief or something? Oh, they're just drawing a card, I see. Drawing a card with their Cling to Dust. Oh, and they get to gain life too. Yeah, I forgot about that aspect of that engine. It's very good. Okay. So we deal 5 to them. Maybe that wasn't the best thing, but yeah, in hindsight, I don't know if that was the best thing to do. That might have been a mistake. Then again, they do have this Sylvan Library active now, so they're going to be drawing gas. Ouch. You know, maybe I should have actually boarded out all the dazes and left in the chain lightnings. Maybe not, but like, you know, it would have been good here. So I think at this point I probably am going to lose. It's all a little bit late here on this surgical and so forth. I guess I'll play this Goyf, but, you know, the Goyf is only going to be able to deal 3 per turn, and they have that Euro. So at this point, I feel like it might actually, like, this game is basically over. Yeah, this game's over. I'm just going to scoop. Now we're on the play, however. So I feel like Days gets better because they can be pretty clunky in like the early turns. I think maybe we'll just go without all the Force of Wills, board back in the Chain Lightnings because the Chain Lightning is pretty good at dealing with an Elk. It's hard though because Force can just help protect your own stuff, you know, a lot of the time, force stuff through. And Days really gets bad the longer the game goes on. So maybe I'll board out 2 Days and we'll board back in the 2 Forces. Yeah, I feel like this is fine. There were a lot of turns that game where, like, you know, we had live draws in the form of like Clothis, or, you know, there was a lot of turns where we could have drawn a surgical extraction for the Euro. We will play first. This hand is pretty garbage, so I think I'm going to mull that. This hand seems better. I mean, it's not like a great hand or anything, but, you know, we bottom one of these lands. We have a brainstorm and fetch type game plan that we can do. I'm pretty confident that our opponent doesn't have a Wasteland. So I'm just going to play out my Volcanic Island. However, if they do have Carpet of Flowers, it would have been better to have played the fetch land first. Interesting. I don't feel like we need these Grave Hate cards yet, so I'm gonna shuffle them away. That could be a mistake, but I feel like it's a fine thing to do here. Delver, Dreadhorde, and Return to Nature. I think I'm gonna shuffle that. I mean, it has threats, which are what we want, but I don't feel like the Return to Nature is going to be that great. Maybe it will, who knows. If he ends up, or if they end up playing like a Sylvan Library or something, yeah, obviously the Return to Nature is great, but ouch. And there is a Carpet of Flowers. So now I would really like to actually have had that Return to Nature. So maybe that was a mistake. Maybe that was a mistake. Yep. Ice Fang, and they're able to play it around Daze. So Carpet of Flowers makes a very big difference in the matchup. I don't think I'm going to Daze this Ponder. I'd prefer to... Then again, with Carpet of Flowers, maybe Daze might have been good there because the Carpet of Flowers is going to allow them to play all of their important spells around Daze for the rest of the game. Probably. What do we do here? I think I'm going to start by brainstorming. I definitely want to play one of these lands. I guess play Dreadhorde here. This is going to give them a lot of mana to work with next turn, which is obviously very bad for us, but, you know. Maybe, you know, with all these various cantrips that we've been playing and stuff, maybe we will be able to find a return to nature for that Carpet of Flowers. Yeah, I would really like to find a back to nature now. Luckily, we do have 2 in our deck. Yep. Sylvan Library. Yeah, I could see us losing this game. It's getting to the point now. I mean, like, the Carpet of Flowers just gave them a huge advantage. Huge. I think we start with a blast on the Ice Fang. I don't feel like they have a removal spell because they would have used it and prevented us from utilizing our Arcanist here. Cling to Dust. Yeah, that hurts. I feel like we need to hit our land drops, so I'm gonna play and crack this. I know I'm just giving them more mana with their Carpet of Flowers, however... Okay. I'm gonna bottom the Dreadhorde, and I'm gonna top the Surgical. And I'm gonna Surgical the Cling to Dust, because that is going to give them a long-term advantage. Interesting. I wonder why they didn't use their Swords to Plowshares on the Dreadhorde Arcanist. Not sure how I'm going to get out of this one, but, you know, we'll see. They're going to play probably a lot of cards this turn. They have Red Blast for my... yeah, you know, the Carpet of Flowers. Oh, God, and the Carpet of Flowers is a one of. They only have one of those in their deck. Damn. Well, I guess lesson learned. I shouldn't have shuffled away the Return to Nature. I probably... Maybe that's just something you kind of just want in your hand because they don't play discard. So it's like if they do, you know, play one of these scary enchantments that's just going to kind of like win the game on the spot for them, maybe you do actually just want to have the Return to Nature. Yeah, this card is so insanely good that... Yeah, there's a Euro. Carpet of Flowers. Dang it. Yeah, that really just made the difference, I feel, this game. But it could be that, other things have made the difference too. So, if they choose, which I think they're going to escape that, that at least lets us resolve the Oko with the help of this daze, but like, best case scenario, we elk their Euro, and then we still can't attack without sacrificing that. Dang, that wasn't really the best draw either. We can flashback Red Elemental Blast. Targeting the Euro. Ah, this is a hard one. We could flashback one of these cantrips. I feel like the first thing we have to do is this. Now we get to do this. That happens. We do this. So now the question is, though, I guess we do flashback that Red Elemental Blast targeting that Euro, and then we make a food? God, that doesn't seem very good. Because then they just bring it back again, and then we're still kind of like shit out of luck. This is a difficult choice. I think we do flashback the Red Elemental Blast here. We Red Elemental Blast their Euro. Then we make a food. So let's see, they've played their Swords to Plowshares, they've played their Snow-Covered Swamp, they played... they still have the Red Elemental Blast. So our Oko's probably going to get blasted here. They have such an insane advantage at this point. I really don't see the path to victory for us. It was so stupid of me. I should have never shuffled away that Return to Nature. But maybe that's like a hindsight bias. I don't know. What I should have thought about was like, what are the absolute worst possible cards for me? Carpet of Flowers probably, right? And then if I play accordingly, I draw the Return to Nature because at least that cuts off the out of like them having the Carpet of Flowers, which is probably the single greatest card in the matchup. So I think the play now is to Red Elemental Blast a Euro if they try and escape one. Then at least their graveyard is fairly low. So I think the path to victory now is just taking advantage of the fact that they are running low on time on their chess clock. Damn. Yeah, I mean, I knew they had that, but you gotta play to your outs, right? Yeah, I'm done for. It's all good though. We learned a lot this match, I'd say. Pretty much like I think Carpet of Flowers is the easiest way to lose. Therefore, if you find an out to Carpet of Flowers at any point in the game, I think it's worth holding on to because like both Carpet of Flowers and Sylvan Library are like must answer cards. Oh well, this has been like, I feel like it was a pretty close and entertaining match. So, you know, at the very least there's that. The single Carpet of Flowers, man, that is just a bummer. Yeah, I see why so many people play the Carpet of Flowers, though. It's just like the single most important card in the matchup. And even though they only have like a minute left, we're just done for, so. I mean, I could probably crack this food, but they have, you know, so many, yeah, we're dead. Oh well. Good games. That was a close one. Game 2 was obviously a lot closer, and I feel like mistakes were probably made in both Game 2 and Game 3. Like, for example, I think maybe that Alpha Strike attack in Game 2 was unnecessary, and I don't know if I should have done it. Like, I think what I should have done was I should have just kept my guys on board. I should have just been patient until I draw like a Surgical Extraction or a Soul Guide Lantern. And from that point, okay, that first hand was not a keep, but this hand is a keep. After, you know, drawing the Soul Guide Lantern, I could have, you know, then Alpha Striked without having to worry about them bringing back their Euro. So, oh well, it was a good game. I'm not going to preordain here because I'm pretty sure this guy plays Rugdelver, and I don't want to expose, you know, like one of my lands to an immediate wasteland. Okay, so it looks like they're not playing Rugdelver. It looks like they're playing a different deck than they played in the challenge yesterday. But we have multiple forces in our hand. going to force that pitching Daze because they kind of are able to play around Daze now. I feel comfortable playing this Preordained since we still have Delver in hand to pitch to this Force of Negation. Ooh, there's another Force of Negation. So I'm going to bottom the Chain Lightning. I'm going to top this Force of Negation. And I'm going to attack with Goyf. And I'm not going to play the Delver here because I feel like it's more valuable as, you know, a second Force of Negation. Or like, so if I force pitching this Delver, which I think I'm going to do on this Wishclaw Talisman, then if I draw another blue card or a land, then I still have another Force of Negation. Okay, there's a Veil of Summer. Damn. Damn that Veil of Summer. Bane of my existence. Okay, there's another blue spell at least. So we are clocking our opponent. And we do have one more we do have one more Force of Negation waiting in the wings here. Okay, let's see. How does this go? 1, 2. They need to play 9 spells. They have the Wishclaw. So I think I let these resolve. This is what I force. God, if they have a damn... Okay. They're gonna find the Veil of Summer. Damn. Well, at least we clocked them a little bit. So maybe, just maybe, they flip expensive cards. Ooh, okay, that's a good start for us, I think. Well, maybe not. Okay, that's also good. There could be, I think, lethal flips at this point. They obviously don't have lethal yet. They need to keep going. They have 0 mana in their pool. That's odd. What can they... Oh. What can they do? Mox Opal. Okay. They don't have Tendrils mana, and even if they did, it's not lethal. Ah, I see. They're pondering for rituals to get to Tendrils mana. And they choose to shuffle. Did they find it? Rite of Flame. Burning Wish. They have 1 mana left. What can they do? So of course now I can use this to find Lightning Bolt to make my next turn lethal, so I don't know what they can do. Empty the Warrens. Okay, we win. That was a close one. Even with all those Veils of Summer. So Null Rod coming in. Return to Nature's coming in. Blazing Volley's coming in. Rough is coming in, both as answers to Empty the Warrens if they do that all quick. Surgical. Is Surgical the best thing against the Epic Storm? I feel like it's probably better than some of these other cards that we have, so... What are the worst cards here? Probably Chain Lightning. And like a single... I still like to keep my bolt count like semi-high. Oko's probably not the best. Tarmogoyf we could probably shave. Mandrills. Let's see. Converted mana cost. So I could probably shave a Wasteland. And maybe I can shave another Bolt. And then this feels pretty good. Is there anything in my sideboard that I really want? Red Elemental Blast can counter cantrips and can also counter Echo of Aeons. I don't think we want the Soul Guide Lantern. I feel like this 60 is fine. Yeah. Maybe I should bring in the Red Blast, but I don't know. It's sometimes kind of, I'm not really sure if that's that good, you know. Part of me is just tempted to Wasteland, but part of me is tempted to play the Delver. I think I'm going to Wasteland here, because I think they only play one Trop, and unless they now find a different source of green mana, that kind of turns off like the Veil of Summer. Okay, a Brainstorm. I feel like with as many forces as we have now, we can just go ahead and play our threats because we have all this, we have insurance against them trying to go off. Defense Grid. So that one is gonna get countered. Probably pitching the Preordain here. Delver of Secrets, no reveal. So do I ponder, or do I play the second Delver? Probably ponder. Ooh, Wooded Foothills, ponder, Wasteland, no shuffle. Now we waste them off of black or red? We waste them off of black. Our Delver flips next turn and we still have Force of Negation up. Wishclaw. I feel like that's a fine thing to force. There's our Ponder. So we can Ponder, and I believe... Okay, there's a Return to Nature. I think we put the Foothills, the Return to Nature, and the Tropical Island. No shuffle. The Return to Nature is like a way to, you know, if they play Defense Grid or like an unprotected Wishclaw, we just draw it. And I feel like that's fine. And now we've got a 2-turn clock. Mox Opal. Tendrils of Agony for 6. Okay. So a Desperation Tendrils, I'm cool with that. That bought him 1 turn. Or them. I don't know if it's a him necessarily. Let's see what they do. So if they go for Past in Flames, we have the Return to Nature. Okay. Yeah, that... Alright, we got there against the Epic Storm, and let's play our match 5 here and see what we end up how we end up doing in this league. I've played against this particular player a lot. I forget what they play, but I'm going to keep this hand. Goblins. So we are looking for burn spells. There's one. Probably going to play the Arcanist next turn. Tarmogoyf might be safer, because depending on the sequence of events that happens, like, this could die to a munitions expert. Of course, so could Tarmogoyf, but so, like, if they put in Lackey, then next turn this takes up to 2, they put in something else, then there's a munitions expert, they could kill whatever creature I play. So I feel like the best thing to do might be to just not play a creature here and just, like, leave up Lightning Bolt. Okay. No lackeys. I mean, they're not really pressuring me, so I don't really have to shift rolls into the aggro roll yet. That Wasteland is hard because I wanted to be able to play a threat and leave up Lightning Bolt, which I'm not going to be able to do. We will float a blue mana. I'm just going to burn one of these brainstorms, I guess. So we're not going to be able to play Oko for a long time, and I don't think we need multiple Tarmogoyfs, so I'm going to put him back like that. I think maybe now it's safe to play a Tarmogoyf. They didn't have Lackey on the first turn. Skirk Prospector. They're getting pretty low on resources in hand. Of course, you can never really become too hopeful too soon, because, you know, all it takes is like 1 or 2 good draws and they can, you know, refill their hand. Yeah, like, see, there's the ringleader. It's unfortunate that they were able to play all this stuff around force. And of course, me tapping out, I knew that they would probably be able to do some pretty crazy shenanigan bullcrap. They have a Matron and a Chain Whirler? Okay. What is the plan? The plan is to continue making my land drops, continue playing threats, and bolting, you know, getting the scariest cards out of the way. So they're not going to be able to vial anything in at the end of turn because they have Chain Whirler and Matron in hand. The question is, do we play Goyf or do we play Dreadhorde? Matron next turn can search for Munitions Expert, which would kill the Dread Horde. Well, actually, it'll probably kill the Goyf too. I think I just need to, like, I think I'm the aggro here, because I think the longer the game goes, the more chances they will have to build this, like, gnarly card advantage. So I think I just need to go for it. It was very fortunate that I drew a land last turn, because it allowed me to, you know, bolt and play the Goyf. I do kind of have like a feeling in the pit of my stomach that I'm going to lose, because they're just going to generate like all this value, and they're going to like kill my guys with their, you know, chain whirlers, or not chain whirler, munitions expert, and or they could just get a sling gang commander and, you know, burn me out and gain a bunch of life, which will help them win the damage race. Okay, Muxus. Yeah, that makes sense. They have 2 vials on 3. Oh, yeah, okay, so he sacrifices goblins to be able to play the Muxus. That's interesting. Reveal the top 6 cards of your library. So we will dismiss these. Munitions. Oh, God, multiple munitions. Ah, this is just utterly shit for us. Sorry. I don't usually cuss on my streams, and I know that if there's like children watching or whatever, but this is just like insane for them, because they just like single-handedly won the game. Scoop. Okay. Goblins. Goddamn goblins. We're bringing in the Null Rod, we're bringing in Rough Tumble, we're bringing in Dismember. Bringing in a single Return to Nature just to have another out to, you know, turn 1 Aether Vial. We're bringing in the Blazing Volley. Here's our 5 cards. It's really difficult when it comes to the counter magic. Like, I don't think we want Forces of Negation, because they don't counter creatures in any case. I don't think we want... So let's see, we're on the play, so maybe 1 daze and 2 force. On the draw, we'll bring in a couple force. I could also see a case for like bringing in some of these slower cards that like just kind of help in the damage race, like if the game goes long, but I don't know, like it seems like they pretty much always have the Cavern of Souls, but you know, that could just be like my feelings, but not really accurate reality. That might not be objectively like how it goes. I feel like this might be fine being on the play. We could bring in another Return to Nature, you know, to have another out to the to more like Aether Vial. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna like board out another daze and leave in the Return to Natures, and then on the draw we'll board out all the days and maybe like bring in the forces. Sylvan Library, like, it can be really good, but I don't know. It feels like it might be too slow and like too tempo negative, because Goblins, like, it's so much about tempo and about like the board. Man, I wonder if it was a mistake for me to play that Tarmogoyf, because like, well, on that crucial turn when so say I leave up the Lightning Bolt to be able to Lightning Bolt that War Chief guy or whatever, the one that gives them all haste. He still would have been able to play because of priority. Like, they play that, then they still have priority, and then they can play the Ringleader for 3 mana, which is like, that was the backbreaking thing for me, was that they were able to play their Ringleader for only 3 mana. We will play first. We'll keep that. It's not like amazing, but like, it has... What I've noticed about Goblins players is that they really like to just like wasteland you and hope to screw you over that way when you're playing on Delver. Like, that might sound pretty general, and yeah, a lot of people might try to do that when you're playing on Delver, but I feel like, you know, I feel like when you have a hand that is kind of like strong against like multiple opening wastelands, that it's like a good keep versus goblins. And of course, Tarmogoyf, obviously huge against goblins. Like, Tarmogoyf is like the ancient nemesis of goblins, so this is a pretty good hand. And they're already on a mole, so I feel pretty good about this game. Then again, you know, it's like you never count your eggs before they're hatched with goblins because they mulligan, but like they get so much card advantage, it's, you know, it hardly matters. When the mulligans really do matter are when it gives them, like, you know, they have to keep something that's risky and then they like don't draw what they need. You know, like if they get stuck on lands or something, that's an easy path to victory. So I'm going to fetch a Volcanic here to make it seem like I might have a Bolt in my hand, and Tarmogoyf is one of the best cards in the matchup, but then I have to draw a Tropical Island. I feel like because mana can be an important, like I was saying, you know, a lot of Goblins players, they'll just like try and deny you mana. I feel like drawing the Tropical Island is fine here, even though it's not like the best. Ooh, okay, there's a Cavern of Souls, and we have the Wasteland for it, so hopefully this is a Skirk Prospector. Ah, it's a Goblin Lackey. So because that was Goblin Lackey, I feel like I probably want to play a Tarmogoyf now to have a blocker. Yeah. I could... No. Wastelanding them is just bad. So I play a Tarmogoyf here. We will be Wastelanding them in the near future. Like next turn I have a nice play of Tarmogoyf Wasteland. Aether Vial. So yeah, I mean, would be nice to draw a Return to Nature or Null Rod. Of course, I knew that Tropical Island was on top of my library, so you know, there's that. So do I have to fear Munitions Expert? I do, in which case... If they get a Munitions Expert, it's only going to deal 3, but then... Yeah, so I don't think I attack here. This plays around Munitions Expert, or whatever that guy's name is. And by playing around, I mean I'll still have a blocker for the Lackey, which is like just the most crucial thing against, you know, like if that Lackey gets through, then that's like, you're like super likely to lose after that, because they'll put like some gnarly Goblin into play, you know. Yeah, that's okay. I don't really, it's not like I desperately need that mana or anything. So I'm actually going to Brainstorm here, and I would like to Wasteland that Rishadan Port, but I want to... Ah, perfect. There's some stuff that I kind of wanted. One of which being like a way to shuffle away some of these extra lands. I'm going to get another Trop, because if they draw Wasteland, I still want to be able to play my Return to Nature, and I'm going to go ahead and play the Delver here. So... Now, okay, so if they put a Goblin and then put Munitions Expert, that kills a Tarmogoyf, but I still have a blocker for the Lackey. I think I can afford to attack with one Tarmogoyf now. Next turn, I'm going to Return to Nature their Vial, which I think, followed by the Wasteland, should pretty much seal the deal for me in this game, but you never, like I said, you never count your eggs before they're hatched with Goblins, because they're so explosive, you know. It really does depend on the contents of their hand, though. Oh god, Sting Scourger. Wasn't expecting that. So if they have a Munitions Expert now, I am screwed. Ah, damn it. Shouldn't have attacked with that Tarmogoyf. Oh, Crater Maker. Basically just as bad as a munitions expert for the purposes of this particular turn. Damn it. I shouldn't have attacked with that Tarmogoyf. That was stupid of me. Well, so maybe their last card isn't like some great goblin. No, that is a great goblin. It's not like the best though. Like we can come back from this. So I could brainstorm hoping to hit a land drop, or I could just play the Delver. I think I'm just going to play the Delver. So I mean, like, our position isn't great because their Sting Scourger's obviously going to die here. Our position isn't great because that Skirk Prospector allows them to turn goblins into mana if they draw anything good. Okay, Aether Vial, that's not like a great draw. It's not like a terrible draw, but it's also not like insanely good or anything. I think I just let this trigger resolve. Oh, Chain Lightning, that's pretty solid. However, they can use the Chain Lightning. If I play it, they can sacrifice goblins to Chain Lightning my insect, but I think I'm okay with that because that's like not the best thing. That's like, I don't think that's very good. If they want to sacrifice their goblin tokens to kill my insect, that's fine with me. I'll have like multiple Tarmogoyfs. So I think they only play one Sting Scourger in the event that they do. Okay, so they're using that very goblin, but now it's countered, so they don't get that mana. I think my opponent misplayed there. I think they let it happen, and then they sacrifice the goblin if they want to choose to go that route, you know. So the only thing I'm afraid of is him hitting with a Lackey, and I really don't think they play more than one Sting Scourger, because that's, like, bad. So now I can really start applying the beats. And if they draw another Sting Scourger, then it's like, whatever. Their Lackey gets through for one, but, you know, they don't have a goblin. Yeah, I think this one we've won. However, you know, you really can never tell with this deck. Yeah. Okay. I think they're pretty dead here. Just gonna play the Mandrills. Okay, those both die. My insect dies. I play the Mandrills, and I think I'm just like, I win, you know. So we were successfully able to do the aggro thing that you have to do to goblins before their window of opportunity opens to like get all this insane advantage. And there's our Hooting Mandrills. Good luck. Good luck beating that board, goblins. Alright, game 3 against goblins. We are on the draw. So Force of Will becomes better because we have more outs to Aether Vial that way. And, you know, if they end up with a hand that doesn't have Cavern of Souls, which doesn't happen very often, but it does happen, then at least we aren't shooting ourselves in the foot by, like, time walking ourselves as far as lands go with a daze. Ah, bummer. We can't keep that hand because it has a Null Rod, and Null Rod is pretty good. This hand, I mean, it has like definitely a lot of very good cards against goblins. Ooh, this hand is extremely risky. It doesn't have any cantrip, and it doesn't have a second land. However, our opponent's also on a mulligan of 6. God, I don't want to keep this. But it does have Chain Lightning and Delver of Secrets and Tarmogoyf. They have kept 6 cards. This is so risky. We're on the draw. You know, we are on the draw. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to bottom Oko. And if we don't draw a land on our first draw step, we might draw a cantrip. And if we don't draw a land on our... so we have basically 2 draw steps to draw a land or a cantrip to try and continue hitting our land drops. Okay, so that probably justifies a Chain Lightning here. I think I just have to do this. Like, I don't think there's any way I can let that live. Ah, damn it, they did have the Wasteland. Always with goblins. Always with the goblins in the Wasteland. Yeah, I'm snap forcing that. Even though we do have an answer in the form of Return to Nature, I just don't want, like, what if they get stuck on this one land? You know, that could buy us time to draw out of the fact that we have 0 lands. So now we have to see who can get unscrewed first. And it's them. They have 3 cards in hand. Ah, I need to draw lands. There's another Wasteland, so even when I draw another land, I'm still screwed. Okay, come on, deck. Come on. Okay, there's something. They want to Wasteland me again, so I'm going to get a Tropical Island here. And this is fine, because I can still dismember. They've curved out a lot better than I have, at least in terms of like hitting their land drops. I don't know what's in their hand, but like I feel like the way that this game is played out, they've definitely like, you know, come out on top. We still do have a chance, though. We can still draw some lands. There's one. God, I'm hesitant to just play it out there, though, because if they have another Wasteland, I mean, like, they can also just keep porting this. Of course, that, like, takes away the potential that they do much. Okay, we have... We need to keep hitting our land drops, though, if we are going to come back in this game. There's a Badlands. They're going to tap down our Tropical Island, which is fine. They're not, like, pressuring our life total at the moment. Damn it. Need lands. Every card that I draw that isn't a land is just worse. At least we have a force. Like, they don't have a Cavern of Souls right now, so if they try to play some sort of goblin, I don't feel like they have to. Like, honestly, they're in the driver's seat. They're just going to keep porting us, and It's going to keep us from playing any of our cards. Ah, frustrating. Frustrating, frustrating. Damn goblins. Please draw land. Please. Jesus Christ. Ah. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe I should have discarded one of these green cards. I mean, come on, man. I play so many lands, and I just need one here to be able to destroy that or, like, play a Tarmogoyf. Of course, like, I don't know. I'm just frustrated. They're not, like, doing anything, but soon they're going to start doing stuff. Like, I guarantee they have, like, a 3-drop They've probably got tons of goblins in their hand, you know? Matron. At least if they, like, try to find a goblin that they play, I can force it and then... I mean, they're still going to keep porting me, but, like... So if I draw a fetch, I can fetch up another trop, and then I can mandrills. God, I really have to start doing something soon, though. I can't... Yeah, I think at this point, that draw step was the deciding draw step of the game, and because I drew a Force of Will, I think I've lost. Because now, they're just going to do a bunch of insane crap, and I have nothing. Stupid goblins. I hate goblins. I will say also that I feel like Goblins is probably one of Rug Delver's worst matchups in the current meta. Now, okay, I could just be getting punished because I kept a bad hand that only had one land, and then they had the Wasteland, which is like a likely thing for them to do. But I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm also just kind of getting shafted here by the variance. Because out of 18 cards, I've only seen 2 lands. And, like, theoretically, 18 cards is almost a third of my deck, and a third of my deck is lands. So, like, I just feel like statistically, that's not super common. I don't really know what the odds are. I don't know what the, like, hypergeometric distribution is supposed to be, but I feel like, statistically, when you have 19 lands in a 60-card deck, I feel like on average you're going to hit probably like, you know, in the first 10 cards you're statistically probably going to hit like 3, and then in the next 10 cards you're statistically probably going to hit 3 most often. If I don't draw a land here, then I'm just like completely screwed. Okay, that is a land. So now I face a choice. The choice is I can save the Wasteland and use it to return to nature his Aether Vial, or I can use it on the port, which frees up my tropical island to play the Mandrills on my turn, which I obviously need to do because, like, I need to have a board presence. I think I have to use it now. And the reason for that is because they've got a Vial on 5. They're probably going to Vial in some gnarly goblin. Of course I don't draw a land again. I'm sorry, I'm just a little tilted now. It's this damn deck, these damn goblins. So he's either ticking up to a Muxus or he has like a Siege Gang commander right now. He's probably ticking up to find Muxus, and then he's just going to like win the game on the spot, you know? If he has a Muxus and he like ticks this up again, then he just basically wins the game on the spot. I'm going to force that. But does it matter? Yeah. Yeah, I have to force that. And here's Muxus. We just have to hope he low rolls. Yep. And I basically just lose because I don't have a sweeper, and if I had a sweeper I would have to draw land anyways. And even if I did have a rough, then, you know, this is still getting in twice, and I'm at 8, so damn. It was very close, but, well, I mean, it wasn't that close. They just completely annihilated us because we only drew 1 land, we didn't have any cantrips. Might have been a stupid keep on my part. I really felt like we would have had a chance to, the way things went were like the worst possible way they could have gone for us, I think. Because, like, we never at any point in this game did we have 2 mana. Okay, so, like, maybe, just maybe, if we draw a Brainstorm, we can Brainstorm into Blazing Volley and a red land. Oh, no. No, they've defeated us. Okay, never mind. Damn Goblins. Well, okay, we went 2 and 3, so maybe I'm eating my words a little bit that Rug Delver is, like, the lord and savior of the new metagame, but, you know, like, Storm, you're just going to lose some games when they draw their discard. Snowko, I feel like we could have played a little tighter, maybe in game 2, and probably definitely in game 3. And Goblins, sometimes they're just gonna, you know, force, like, I had to kind of play the way I did, because you can't let the Goblin lack you through, and sometimes they're just gonna draw all their ports and their wastelands and stuff, and you're gonna draw, like, no lands. So, anyhow, thanks for watching.